يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا إن الله خبير بما تعملون.
My name is Tariq Mahmood. I'm the chairperson of Sufi Festival charity, and you would call it the festival director, but I'll be a bit humble. Just part of the team delivering the festival. I am a Muslim. My tradition is Salam. I follow that practice, but Sufism is leaning towards a particular focus, which is about development of spirituality. Now, I wasn't necessarily interested in Sufism per se. I've been born as a Muslim, tried to do the things that I'm meant to do as a Muslim. But in 2009, I performed the pilgrimage to Mecca, and I met somebody who I never met in this world before. At the moment that I met them, I felt personally that all the answers that I might have ever had in my life lay at the feet of this individual, who I subsequently learned was a sheikh, a spiritual master in the Sufi path. And that individual coming into my life, or me being allowed into their life, changed me entirely. And what I've learned from that individual is that Sufism are the traits and attributes of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of generosity, love, kindness, and realising that you treat your brethren, no matter what difference they are, religion, faith or ethnicity, with love. And I learned that from my sheikh, and part of today is the outpouring and sharing of that love. And sadly my sheikh passed away 2 years ago, but the legacy that they've left for me individually is about honouring my sheikh through today. And there hasn't really been like anything of the type ever, I would say, not only in Glasgow, Scotland, perhaps even the UK. Something that I've wanted to do for a long period of time, trying to counter the negative portrayals of Islam and Muslim in the media. We said, look, let's put in the true, authentic, traditional Islam, which is love, beauty and harmony, regardless of what the differences are. When you see people coming together with joy and happiness, just smiling, it's just remarkable. And there's a level of energy that's produced just because of that taking place in the environment, and that has a cascading effect of, shedding light, shedding happiness and harmony, and that's what it is. And we have a very diverse range of people that have come. Absolutely, the intent behind this project is to bring Muslim community, non-Muslim community together. So that was part of the objective right from day one. And you just need to look around with the breadth of nationalities, African, Asian, white Scottish, white British. It's just an eclectic mix. And if that's all we achieve today, bringing people under a roof from different communities, job done. But we're ambitious. We want more, and the more is that sharing the love and harmony between us, and that's happening. That's absolutely happening today. We've got a feedback wall upstairs. I just happened to glance on it. I mean, that's snippets. That's absolutely just snippets of how people feel.
I've had a fantastic day at the festival here, and even though the weather is a bit dreich, the warm welcome has been overwhelming, and it has been lovely to get a glimpse to find out more about Sufism and the spirituality associated with the Islamic faith. And it's been lovely to see so many people from across Glasgow and beyond, no doubt, come here and try and experience that themselves, and actually people from within Islam wanting to reach out to the community to show the faith in its fullest sense, about the kindness that is at its heart. So it's been a lovely experience. I've seen some prayers, some calligraphy, some talks and storytelling, lots of different things going on, activities here for people to enjoy, and it's been a real success. And I think that's the thing that we want to take from it, is that we want Scotland to be a tolerant, open and diverse country, and having celebrations like this that we have today at the Tramway is absolutely fundamental to achieving that. So it has been a really great experience.
It's always good to celebrate people's identities, people's culture. We have such a wide range of cultures in Glasgow, and especially when people get invited and people from all different cultures come to this kind of events as well. It really shows the appreciation of the multiculturalism in Glasgow. So this is just one part which is just making Glasgow.
What's been really good has been getting the chance to learn and to hear from people about what it means, the deep philosophy behind it, the spirituality behind it, and to find out more about that. But what's also really lovely is the fact that there is so many similarities, a really deep sense of a storytelling culture, that oral tradition of stories being passed down through generations. And that's something happens in Scotland as well, that deep sense of storytelling, that oral tradition of passing down stories. So even though there's lots of differences, there's lots of things that unite the different cultures together, and I think that's been something that's really lovely as well.
We did take a small part in one of the Dwelling Dervishes session, and it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. You have to try it out, and also hear how we speak about doing this, practicing this. Open your heart for love and giving love out to others is a beautiful message.
That's not something that everyone gets a chance to do, so it's a real privilege. And again, that's why I'm really proud to have faith as part of my portfolio. It's a real privilege to be able to see the showcasing of different faiths and beliefs across Scotland. We want Scotland to be an open, tolerant, peaceful country, and to celebrate diversity. Sometimes what gets focused on is the negativity. This is a real chance to debunk that and to really accelerate the fact that what is going on here is a real celebration, really positive, about kindness, about acceptance, and that's what we want for Scotland.
अम्मा आयशा के हाथ से जब थी सुई खो गई आयशा के हाथ से जब थी सुई खो गई तो मुस्कुराए आप तो हर चीज़ रोशन हो गई मुस्कुराए आप तो हर चीज़ रोशन हो गई चेहराए महबूब है चेहराए महबूब है या सूरजों की कान है वाह वाह किडा सोना नबियां दा सुल्ताने वाह वाह किडा सोना नबियां दा सुल्ताने
As the world turns up your lesson will learn. But if you got no island, your lamp, then tell me, how can it burn? As the wheel turns up your blessing we earn. But if you got no island, your lamp, then tell me, how can it burn? So let the lamp burn. Burn out the turmoil, let the lamp burn.
So my name is Ahmed Ikhlas. I am what you would call a dub poet. So just basically using just the drum and the voice. And the style is articulated in the Caribbean style, particularly Jamaican. And a lot of the songs are Islamic based as well. I tried to get the crowd to participate by singing along. I feel that gets people out there, their shells, and it sort of expands their comfort zone. And it's very nice that we can all sing together as well. I find the Scottish lot are very similar to London lot, where they like to sing. So it was nice to get that response. People, when they initially hear me, they don't see it as something traditionally Islamic, and that's because I guess we're used to hearing a particular type of narrative, whether that be like sort of Arabic or Asian, South Asian, different cultures. So when they hear, Islamic songs expressed in the Caribbean, Jamaican dialect, it's a bit, wow, this is interesting. And I feel that that's one of the beautiful things about Islam, is that different cultures come together, and it says in the Quran, the Creator says that He's made nations of different tribes and people, not to despise each other, but to know each other. So I think this is a good example of what's happening today as well. The word Sufi, tasawwuf, means something very special to me. I feel like it's what people do, practice tasawwuf or Sufism, it's what they do to build a relationship between them and the Creator. I think it builds bridges. For example, I met a gentleman earlier on who he said he's not a Muslim, but he thought that it would be good for him to come along. And he gave an interesting analogy of a child that was given a meal to eat, and the child would say, "No, I don't want it. I don't want this." And every time the child would refuse, "I don't want it." And then the question is asked, "Have you actually tried it?" And the child was like, "Well, no, I haven't." So how do you know you don't like it? So that was his analogy for him coming today. He didn't know what to expect. He didn't know whether you like it or not, but he gave it a go, and he said he loved it. So I think, events like this bring communities together.
Oh, I'm confessing he's a blessing, a spiritual dressing for the whole of mankind. His life is a lesson, perfect gem, the best of all men. True Allah, we send the prayers on him again and again. Oh, my guide, in his mercy I confide. Like the full moon, he raised up the tide. The seas are overflowing cause of the tears that's from my eyes. Oh, but Christ for Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulillah. Oh yeah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulillah. Oh yeah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulillah. Oh yeah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulillah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a new poem. So Tarek asked me to write something especially for the Sufi Festival. So he sent me a book of saints by Farid ud-Din Attar, and it has lots of stories of many different Sufi saints. So I kept returning to the story of Rabia al-Adawiya, and this is a poem about her. And one thing that stood out for me from this version of her story is to do with food. And it probably stuck out to me because I've got a very emotional relationship with food, but it's a small thing in the whole grand scheme of her life. But it was that she refused to eat dates for 12 years because that was the one thing that she was craving. Not ajwa or amba or safawi, not khudri, kholas or majul. 12 years she wanted to eat a fresh date so she wouldn't have any at all. Sayyida Rabia al-Adawiya, from birth a queen amongst women, crowned in her slavehood with a lantern floating over her head in prayer, the colour of yellow date flesh, gorgeous bright, fearful awesome, that shined with such authority her owner rushed to let her free from his house and into the desert. God taught her discipline. Her conviction was a date seed, firm stone in a world sticky with self-adoration, ribbed pit like stern lips holding under the foot of ostentation, never flattened, never crushed. The seed would rather be stamped deep in the dark of the ground, never bothered, never found, turning the divine love that left her hungry, thirsty, constricted, and alone into date palms abundant, stretching out of the earth and out of herself entirely, until her human needs fell off her like ripe fruit off a labored tree. The world was a festering of wants, of feasting and flaunting and taunting and men asking futile questions, of egos with greedy suggestions that never aligned with what Allah has laid out on the plate, which wasn't a soft, easy life, which wasn't a sweet, jeweled date, but to rely on no one and nothing, knowing something in everything would fail her. That desire was the true cell and jailer, that the true love of her endless spirit was greater than the world and everything in it, sweeter than khudri, kholas, majul, ajwa, and amba, and safawi. Fasting from all but worship of Allah, the enricher and mughni, let her drop this crisp fruit of a globe from her hand and set her saintly free. Thank you.
I think festivals like this are a great way to get people together from the community and just sort of have an enjoyable time, but also bring up these ideas that are so central to our way of life and our way of living, and to just provide a space for dialogue, for conversations, and for getting to know each other.
I just did a presentation on a book that I've been working on for 50 years called Meetings with Mountains. The subtitle is Encounters with the Saints and Sages of the Muslim World. It's really a whole side of the Islamic world that's hardly known. I mean, if you ask anyone, if you heard of extremists, everybody puts their hands up. If you ask who's heard of the opposite, no one puts their hands up. Maybe someone heard of Rumi or something, that's about the extent of it. But it's very much part of the community of Islam. There are saints in every religion, so it's kind of strange for me that it's not that known within the Muslim community, but they definitely exist. We need to come together. I just said that in there. We need to come together as human race, really. There's so much division, especially within religions, and the religions should be united, and it's sort of strange it becomes the thing to divide people.
शान की दसा में तैनू मुस्तफा दी आल दा जिक्र ए ना सोने आंदा मुश्किलां नू टाल दा फातिमा हसनैन
I know I hadn't been to Glasgow before, and I had to come to Glasgow because I've heard that it's a really happening place, and it is. It's wonderful to come up here. It's a real privilege, and I think it's fantastic that they are doing this now. I mean, this is much needed, and it's such a. I noticed from where I was staying, and it's such a mixed community. It's people from. So I knew there must be an exciting crowd of people here in Glasgow.
It's funny because we've been up to Glasgow before, and it's every single city is a different kind of crowd. Every time we go to a different city, you don't know what to expect. Like sometimes you'll get people that will just stare at you and just sometimes you get people that will scream and clap. But today's crowd, mashallah, they were very warm and very welcoming, and Glasgow has a very light and beautiful energy. So it was, even though it was a massive stage, it felt like we were all just sitting in one little circle. Because singing is not about it's not a performance. It's not about two of us singing to you. It's about everyone participating. Everyone
this idea of performance is such a new thing when it comes to the devotional kind of, or just art as a general thing. Like, we are performers, you are listeners. We perform, you be quiet and listen. Like, when you look at all traditions of music, everybody participated. Whether that was clapping, somebody would get the spoons out, somebody get a tambourine, or somebody would come in with a harmony. Like, it's always been like a communal thing, and I feel like we're trying to introduce that more into our music and make it less about this is what we can do, and it's more about what we can do collectively, right?
We've been walking around as well, and the atmosphere and the vibe is so beautiful.
And the music, it's lovely. Alhamdulillah.
And the people, and the food, and the plants, the herbs behind us.
It's really in sync with the whole Sufi energy, Sufi kind of principle, Sufi connection to nature, about seeing God in everything. And it's beautiful that we can step here and we can listen to some music, hear some talks, do some workshops, and still be in this space that holds us so beautiful. The hidden garden, like Rumi's garden. That's what it's called.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Even our heartbeats are constantly in praise of the divine. But it's really for us to just stop and to listen and see if we can hear that praise. So this is that song. Allah, 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 Allah. And there's many names to Allah. Some of us will call Allah. Some will say Ya Rahman. Some will say God. Some the divine, the supreme being. There's so many different names for the divine. There's many hearts that have however many names there are. Allah.
Would you like one more song? Are you sure? Ismail wants to do some more. Are you sure? Okay. Let's go.
All right. Okay. Malcolm X. Yeah, yes. This one's dedicated to the man like Malcolm X, Malik Al-Haj Shabazz, from the crew like Mecca to Medina.
Magnificent wordplay and vocabulary. When he was in jail, he read the whole dictionary. He was a revolutionary, visionary. They told me solitary, but they couldn't break the spirit. When you hear it, his words, you know you heard the truth. Other people fear it. When they hear his words, they can't bear it. Malcolm X wets the minds of intellects, resurrects the projects with knowledge from the holy text. Connects with a layman with an A plan. Take him out of ignorance to the sheikhs of Sudan. Malik Al-Shabazz, I'm not about the cause. I'm not about the cause like the Moors. He wasn't serious about the truth, but evil killed him. I will turn one in a million.
This was dedicated to Malcolm X, a rebel for the cause, nothing complex. Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he has. Malcolm X, aka Malik Al-Shabazz. This was dedicated to Malcolm X, a rebel for the cause, nothing complex. Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he has. Malcolm X, aka Malik Al-Shabazz.
Our enemies get vexed, complex when you mention Malcolm X, a visionary, a shooter of the Quranic text. Father got battered and shattered, but the cows wearing the hood. Mother caved in from the pressure,
from the best she could. Give her A-class.
Student becoming a lawyer. Deterred by racist word from
a racist teacher.
Twist the crime, gangsterism.
Also big pimping.
Slapper suited and booted with guns ready for blazing. Got sidetracked. Hijacked by police on a mission, sent to prison, where he became known as Satan. Knowledge of self was the flex of motion. That's when he joined the NOI organization. Wonders would never cease
upon his release.
Relentless in exposing
the shaitan beast.
Left them and made the holy pilgrimage Hajj. Now known to the world as Malik Al-Haj Shabazz. He wanted to link us the truth and knowledge in the West. Purposely shot dead before this youth was manifest.
This was dedicated to Malcolm X, a rebel for the cause, nothing complex. Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he has. Malcolm X, aka Malik Al-Shabazz. This was dedicated to Malcolm X, a rebel for the cause, nothing complex. Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he has. Malcolm X, aka Malik Al-Shabazz.
We stand firm, living in this land of germ.
Yeah.
Spiritual warfare, the rituals, they're all here.
Yeah.
In this world of bitterness and torment, there's only one way to go,
and that's the way the Moors went.
All out, the spiritualists, they call out. I dance 5 times a day, we pray so we won't call out. Inshallah, I remember when I first took my Shahada. Bearing witness, there's no other.
A'udhu billah, min ash-shaytan regime.
Try to stay clear, better keep our nose clean.
Bismillah, Rahmanir Rahim.
No need to fear when Allah's on the scene.
Lord of mercy on those that blaspheme.
Try to intervene when Allah's on the scene.
You can't
mask yourself up
like your mask green.
Cause he knows you're better than your bloodstream.
Seen. You know them weigh their blood.
When you're rolling with Allah, you know the flex ain't stud. What? Blood not, you shall not be blood. Grudge not, you shall not be budged. Listen to me, blood. This was dedicated to Malcolm X,
a rebel for the cause.
What?
Nothing complex.
Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he had.
Malcolm X, aka
Malik Al-Shabazz. This was dedicated to Malcolm X. Nothing complex. Oh Allah, please bless us with the station he had.
aka
Malik Al-Shabazz. Glasgow, thank you.
This was a song really in 2005 that made us really popular. And we've travelled all over the world with it, but we're going to sing this. Medina, Medina. You need to sing along with us, right? You don't get it to say Medina. It works.
Right.
Okay?
I'm hungry as well. It's dinner time.
This guy's always hungry. Calm down. Right? Here we go. Medina Nabi.
Medina.
As a band, we are Ashik Rasool, and we perform nasheeds and Islamic music, mystical music from the Islamic traditions. We sing in a variety of languages: English, Arabic, Urdu, Punjabi, bits of French, Turkish. And really what we try to do is bring communities together through song, through melody, through rhythm. You know, when we travel around the world and perform at different venues, you break those bonds, you know, and you build bridges, and it's just brilliant. And we see people happy.
We've played at, even at 10 Downing Street, we've been there twice as well. So that's been a good experience.
Who was in when you were?
David Cameron.
Twice.
And how was that?
Again, you know, we sing and we do what we do. We are a band, and I think, you know, we don't see it any different wherever we are. We're one ensemble, join in, be happy, you know, clap along with the tempo, and it was brilliant. As musicians, artists, we would like to see the audience as one ensemble with us, you know, and which is what I mentioned on stage. And I think it's about that, you know, everyone performing, enjoying together, and, you know, that's where the magic really happens.
Glasgow has built a bridge today. We're from Birmingham. And Birmingham is now bridged to Glasgow, and we're twinned.
And it's really talking with the heart, like Imran said earlier on. We speak in sometime in Arabic or Urdu, which people don't necessarily understand, but it's talking with the heart, and you can see another dimension of communication between people. That love, and it tickles that love which grows and makes people feel good, and that's what it's all about.
हर इब्तिदा है तेरे ही नाम तक हर इंतहा है तेरी हमदो तना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कि तू मेरे मोहम्मद आसदा है अल्लाहू अल्लाहू
We just finished Crazy in Love, the story of Layla and Majnun, which I told with my colleague and friend Abdullah Mufa, the drummer and lay player. Layla and Majnun is a very well-known, very classic story that has been, there are several versions of it across many countries, and the most famous is the one by Nizami, who was a great Farsi poet. It's very long. If we were going to do like old school storytelling, a couple of hours would just be the warm-up, and then we'd have dinner and tea, and then we'd like sit into the night with the story for about 3 nights. That's probably how long it would take to tell the whole story. So I cut bits out of it and made it really my version. For me, it's about concentrating on what the story means and the relevance that I see in it now. Often people are quite moved by the story. I think it touches something in them. So we had nice feedback, which was great. It's been a really lovely day, and I just thought it's been a really inspired idea. It's been a real feat of organisation, and I just really kind of take my hat off to the team. And I've just been so moved, actually, myself, by just the range of people who've come, curious about arts and culture, Sufi arts and culture, Islamic arts and culture, and I've just loved that. Stories, even though they might be specific to a culture, you can have a very similar story in another culture. And stories speak of such kind of human responses to different situations in life that I think people can relate to hearing stories. May Glasgow continue to flourish and host, really such massively inspiring projects like this, which are quite a, what's the word? Like they're a real goal, a real inspiration. We're not doing it. They're the ones who've done it. And go on, Glasgow.
We had Aileen Cameron, the Cabinet Secretary for Communities and Local Government, and also Eva Bollinger, and they were whirling in a dervish workshop. And you can't get any better than participation in that sense. So yes, the feedback's been remarkable. It's been lapped up, and the thing that we're getting asked by everybody is, when's it going to happen next year? I think I need a bit of time out for my life and my personal life, because my wife, my children, my family, my work have been so remarkable. But you know what? Bigger and better. Let's see where we go.
In these steps, in secret, the dervish is always concentrating to receive and to give. Like the sun in the middle, by asking love to give all the love away, this secret heart opens. Kalb sir 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 ghafa akfa, and to leave the bodily appearance behind, so that our soul that belongs to the holy breath of God is open. Where there is no ego, there is only beauty to receive, to give.
we're just rock and roll.
Asian rock and roll.
This is spiritual rock and roll.
Yes, spiritual rock and roll. Sufi music, Qawwali music.
South Asian spiritual rock and roll, folk music
from the subcontinent.
So our music incorporates different things, doesn't it? It started from with some Persian influences, Arab influences.
Over 1,000 years ago.
Over 1,000 years ago, and then it was kind of formulated more in the Indian subcontinent by Amir Khusro, who was a very famous Sufi poet and also master of music and also spirituality. So we're carrying on that tradition here in the UK. What you're going to find is we're going to go through a journey of melody and tempo. So we begin kind of on quite a steady kind of level where the tempo is quite steady and the rhythms are very kind of melodic, but kind of very soothing melodic. And then as the qawwali progresses, it gets more powerful, and then culminating in an explosive qawwali, which really gets everyone going and sends people sometimes in an ecstatic state of trance. This is the prelude to trance, but this is the ancient trance.
It was to this scale, and the amount of artists and the quality of artists that they've brought is phenomenal.
Yeah, and the people that have come, people from different backgrounds, different communities, different walks of life, and it's just so refreshing to see everybody brought together.
It's a credit to Glasgow.